A parliamentary petition out of Canada now has 250,000 signatures on it. The Canadian people would like to revoke Elon Musk's Canadian citizenship because I guess everyone hates Elon. You can't blame the Canadians for being mad at Elon or even feeling betrayed for him, though. First of all, he set up all of his businesses in the United States, not Canada. That's insulting. But he also chose to ingratiate himself with the US president and move into the US government, the same president and government that is now planning to levy a 25% tariff on Canada. Oh, and this is the same president who Elon Musk is so in alignment with that has often joked about annexing Canada and making it the 51st state. Some find his so-called jokes less funny than others, and among those, I would imagine, would be the Canadians.
This guy controls a media platform that could influence Canada's election, that he has shown a willingness to support far-right parties, that he's already interfered in Canada's political scene, supporting Pierre Poilievre, the MAGA Maple guy. Conservative MPs have been supporting Elon Musk for promoting the growing level of hatred and disinformation. So my letter to Elections Canada is, do they have the tools to make sure that he doesn't monkey wrench our electoral process? One of those tools would be ensuring algorithmic transparency during the writ period so we can see whether he's putting his finger on the scale.
Now, if Elon Musk actually does get his Canadian citizenship revoked, he will be fine. He still has citizenship in the United States and in South Africa. He has birthright citizenship in South Africa. His mother gifted him his Canadian citizenship, and he is a naturalized citizen of the US. Really, he doesn't need his Canadian citizenship, and he doesn't even seem to want it. In response to the petition, Elon tweeted, "Canada is not a real country." I don't even know what that means. Perhaps it's too genius or too meme for me to understand, but it just sounds like a nonsense thing to say in response to someone hurting your feelings. It would have been better and easier for him to have just not said anything at all, even though that's kind of what he did. He didn't say much of anything with that statement. So the petition, it says that Elon Musk has used his wealth and power to influence our elections. He has now become a member of a foreign government that is attempting to erase Canadian sovereignty. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau should revoke Elon Musk's dual citizenship status and revoke his Canadian passport effective immediately. So the petition process in Canada is such. First, it needs the support of at least 5 Canadians. It needs the authorization of a member of parliament. In this case, it is Charlie Angus of the left-wing New Democratic Party, and it needs an initial review. Then it can start to collect signatures. This petition is open until June 20th of this year, at which point the clerk of petitions will certify that at least 500 of its signatures are legitimate. If that is found to be the case, then the petition will be presented at the next session of Parliament for debate. Unfortunately, for those 250,000 plus people who have already signed this petition, it is unlikely that any of it will result in the actual revocation of Elon's Canadian citizenship. Canadian laws simply do not allow for it, except in cases where the citizenship is obtained through means of fraud or misrepresentation. As I mentioned, Elon got his citizenship through his mother, who was born in Canada, so no fraud, no misrepresentation. Qualia Reed, a sci-fi author and the author of this petition, said of the virality of the petition, "To be clear, this action I started and all of you are spreading and growing isn't about personal attacks. It's about ensuring that those who influence global policies and industries know that the people are not okay with their lack of ethical responsibility." So it's clear that they knew all along that this was unlikely to result in any kind of meaningful action against Elon, at least not the action that they're demanding in the petition. But this was more of an exercise of free speech. People are speaking out against the actions of powerful global figures. People are tired of being pawns in these games that none of us even wanted to play. And these frustrations need to be acknowledged and heard in a way that is both serious and contemplative. In this case, Elon Musk and everything he entails and represents will likely be discussed and debated in Canadian Parliament within a few months, if that isn't already happening. The Canadian Parliament will be forced to consider the fears and frustration of the Canadian people officially and on the record. Perhaps at that point, something will come from it, but what, we don't know. So what happens when a nation doesn't want to claim you? Does that make you a refugee of sorts? Not quite. You're only a refugee if you're poor, right? Or if your homeland has been destroyed because of geopolitical machinations entirely beyond your control. You can't be a billionaire refugee, especially if you're a billionaire with 2 other passports to fall back on. And if Elon really wants to, he can just go live on a yacht somewhere in the middle of the ocean, somewhere where no one can find him unless he wants to be found. Being unpopular or being unliked is not the same thing as being oppressed. Not that anyone reasonable is claiming that Elon is oppressed, and living on a yacht is not the same thing as being homeless or displaced. Of course, he's not a normal person by any stretch of the word, so why would anyone expect his national or governmental allegiance to resemble any sort of normalcy? I feel like this is a difficult concept for some people to grasp. I certainly struggle to wrap my head around it sometimes, but it's the idea that the more you elevate in society, the smaller your circles get. When you're at the level of Elon Musk, world leaders are just people to you. They're not untouchable in the way most people perceive them to be. They're not special or a genius or whatever the rest of us have to believe they are so that we can feel better about ourselves. They're just people who either applied for a job that no one else wanted and got the job, or their life circumstances were such that they ended up in certain positions, whether by privilege or luck or both. Moreover, nations and their boundaries are essentially meaningless when you exist outside of or above their laws and regulations. With Elon's incredible wealth, there is little that any government or nation can do or can inflict upon him in the form of penalties or consequences that would actually cripple him. He is in many ways untouchable, and for that reason, he can call Canada not a real country on the social media platform that he purchased for way more money than he should have paid for it. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.